Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94. You're back with another reaction video. Today, we're finna react to the death of classic rap albums. This should be an interesting topic. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
My favorite rap album of all time is Get Rich or Die Trying by 50 Cent. Now, if you allow me, I'll probably say that it's also the greatest rap album that's ever dropped. And I'm probably in a minority on that, and that's okay. But the thing is, with that album, I know that me and you can both agree that it's a classic rap album, amongst many others, like Good Kid, Mad City, Illmatic, 36 Chambers, Stankonia, and the
Fuck
list
no.
goes on and on.
Fuck no. You had me. You had well, actually, nah. You missed on a couple of them, but fuck, stank on you.
Hear me good, nigga. I'm here to double down. That shit is a two-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks. Bruh.
That nigga said stank on you. Ugh. You could have said Aquemini. You could have said ATLiens. You could have said Southern Playalistic. You could have even said Speaker Box and Love Below. I wouldn't have been mad at you. Stank on you.
Move this man.
Classic. Y'all say that's a classic?
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Boy, if you don't get...
But anyways, though.
One thing I have noticed, though, from that time 22 years ago,
Damn.
when I was a middle schooler running around, not understanding the quality of music I was getting, is that if you fast forward today, not a lot of albums can contend with that album from 22 years ago and the other albums that I've named. I started noticing this problem, I would say, about 2015 and on, where we got less and less classic albums, though we will get.
I highly disagree with this take here. You taking me for a loop now. You starting to lose my interest, bro. Cause first you said Stankonia was a classic. Now you saying ain't no better albums than Get Rich or Die Trying. You mean to tell me so Kanye Graduation don't exist? My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy don't exist. Good Kid, Mad City don't exist. There hasn't been an album that has reached that. An album about making it out the hood. Another album about making it out the hood, talking about how gangster you are and toting guns and dissing your ops. Sounds pretty fucking similar to a lot of fucking music I've heard throughout my years. Don't get me wrong, it's a classic album for sure, but Get Rich or Die Trying is fuck out here.
Getting more and more rap albums. The streaming era, I think, is a big factor here. But let's walk it back a little bit. What makes a great or a classic rap album? To me, I think, well, by default, you have to have great rapping, but I don't mean great rapping in a lyrical, dexterical manner, right? Good, solid rapping that gets the point across, rapping that is noted by everybody around you that, oh, okay, that's a legit rapper without the bias, whether it's a Northern MC, a Southern MC, or a West Coast MC. Second, I think you need a story. Now, the older rap albums told these stories in a such sort of chronological manner and may involve skits. And you see that in newer rap albums that are classic, 12 years ago, still a little new, in Good Kid, Mad City, right? Or I could even argue YG, My Crazy Life. But okay. There's another way, though, to tell the story. Like I said, Get Rich or Die Trying is one of my favorites. And as long as the MC sort of incorporates what's going on in his life at that moment in a raw, uncut manner, that's still telling a story. It can be done in a non-chronological order, right? You understand what I'm saying? But I could also see why a lot of rap albums nowadays are sort of missing that. Because what's the incentive to tell a story? But walk that back a little bit. There was an incentive back then to tell a story because I believe we weren't in an over commercialized, get the number one hit record, dominate the charts world the way hip hop is today, right? And that's why back in the day, you also noticed that a lot of people who dropped great rap albums that told great stories, it usually was their first rap album in which they had that story to tell that no one knew about. In 50 Cent's case, he had got hit 9 times and everybody was excited about the story. Kanye West, College Dropout, he was in an accident. You do see later on, past the 2010s, when people drop these albums that do tell the story pretty well, sometimes those albums end up being mixtapes because that's when you still have some of the freedom before the label gets their claws all over you. I think number 3 is you need great production. This part shouldn't be underrated because, like any other genre of music, the first thing that's going to catch people's attention is the production, the beats. Now, if you have great production, you have to make sure that production is cohesive. This is where sequencing comes in, right? The album can't be all over the place, okay? Now, the next one, you want to make sure that the album is concise. Ideally, if you got like an Illmatic, where it's not more than 17 or 18 tracks, that's pretty good. I think that's why people argue Illmatic is the greatest rap album of all time. But it can be concise in a manner that it's got a little more songs than usual, but those songs serve a purpose. They don't feel like why is this here? And I think in the streaming era, we kind of fell into a trap. And lastly, I think this one is sort of hard to explain, but it needs to have the impact, whether immediate or standing the test of time. And there's no other way to explain this, but, well, I don't know. If I socked you in the jaw right now, you'll feel the impact. If adrenaline is pumping and you swear you don't, when you go home and your cheek is bruised, you'll see the impact. Now, with that said, that's what I'm looking for when I'm looking for a great classic rap album. So why is the classic rap album dying? Well, the world we're in today, as far as the landscape we're in today for music, really prevents a lot of these things from happening at the same time, right? Number one, the streaming era really, really takes away the sort of emphasis on the story, the album being cohesive, and you probably should not even be trying to make a concise album because the more songs you can sneak on that project, most likely the more streams you will get, which will transform into more sales, right? Transfers into more sales. So you got to be a little careful trying to play the 14, 15 song album game. That's number one. Number two, we're in an era with the internet that instant gratification. So you better have the hit. You better have the thing that can take the internet by storm. Now, before 2015, before the streaming era really sort of took over, you saw elements of this. Even though My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy that came out in 2010 by Kanye West is, to me, a classic rap album, Kanye did something there that I thought was particularly interesting. He was releasing the songs weekly. He understood the climate. He knew the world was changing. But behind him in 2010 were, the backpackers and the blog rappers, etc., who were kind of sort of watching Kanye, but knew what they had to do to get into the game. The Drakes, the Meek Mills, the Wale's, the Big Sean's, the Kendricks, the J. Cole. So they were trying to do both. But I think right after 2015 or so, most of these MCs eventually realized what was going on. But you have someone like Kendrick who constantly pushes back a little bit. And when you look at what he did with To Pimp a Butterfly, I believe he was still aiming to check off some of these boxes. Even now with GNX, you can still tell he's aiming to check off some of these boxes. However, an artist like Drake understands we're in a playlist era. I think that's really the next thing in conjunction with streaming that's sort of limiting commercial rappers from aiming to make what we used to know as the classic great rap album, right? What music can you give me that I can take and add to my playlist for the functions, right? What music can you give me that Apple and Spotify can take and curate it for my algorithmic brain tuned brain to go, yes, I'm going to get through my workout. And you see this with each ranking for each era. I went on albumoftheyear.org and I said, okay, let me go through by decades. What were the scores and average scores of some of these rap albums? The 90s is filled with a bunch of hundreds, literally. Albums getting hundreds out of 100. Then you go to the 2000s, you see a little dip, but still pretty high. 2010, you see dips, but still pretty high. But once you get to the 2020s, boy, it starts going downhill. In fact,
to be fair, we only 5 years in. Y'all acting like we supposed to just be knocking out the gate every fucking year. It's not gonna happen like that. Come on, Chief. We only 5 years into the decade. Can we at least make it to like 2028 before we start saying this shit? Because around 2028, we can start critiquing this decade. But as of right now, we still in the middle of it.
You mostly start seeing albums from non-commercial or non-big infamous rappers. So what does this mean? If you don't feel the way I feel, it's probably because you're younger and you never had to go through, or you never went through the golden ages in the early 2000s of what people considered a classic rap album. I mean, think about it. If you're 22 years old right now, when Get Rich or Die Trying came out, you were probably either not alive or just born. And when My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came out in 2010, you were about 7 years old or so. So it's probably going to be a little harder for you to understand what these albums meant at the time, right? But you get my point. Now, where do we go from here? I think we will have to see some kind of regression in the commercialization of the art. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm rooting for hip hop to suffer, or I'm rooting for hip hop to not be as popular as it is anymore. But you'll have to see certain labels that are not the big labels, you know, the UMGs of the world and things like that. But they are still pretty profitable, pretty rich, and they're taking chances on MCs who do want to put this quality out. And they're able to at least make enough commercial noise that people recognize the albums, but they still have the freedom to try to check off all these boxes. And quite frankly, I'm not sure if this is a project that most people want to take the time out to try to do. What's in it for me? So a bunch of YouTubers can say, hey, that's a classic rap album. Either way, I can put my 21 track project out, 24 track, 30 track project out, have the #1 album on Billboard, then still build cult-like fan bases like Playboy Cardi's of the world. So, yeah, I think the classic rap album is dead.
Okay.
In this video,
Wait,
you see
go back, please.
My favorite rap.
So I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but somebody could still drop a classic at any given point in time. It's just based on creativity. I think a lot of today's rappers lack creativity, or they have creativity, but they lack in other areas to make a classic album. Because if we going off your checklist, most rappers can probably only do like three out of them things on that checklist. If we can go to it, if we pull it up real quick. Like, most rappers can do 3 out of 6. Some rappers can do 4 out of 6. Some rappers can do 5 out of 6. Some rappers can rap really good, have a good story. It can be cohesive and concise, but the production can be, and the impact could have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think classic albums are at a place where they can't happen. It's just that today's rappers just lack a couple of these qualities. That doesn't take away from an album. If an album is good, an album is good. And over time, I just wish that we would give albums more time. Like we only 5 years into 2020s and we already calling and niggas out here already calling Gen X a classic. Like, can we give it about a good 2-3 years before we can go back to it? Because right now it's still hot, still relevant. Like Luther is still the #1 song in the fucking world right now. So how about we wait, we come back to him in a couple of years, and then we determine, okay, yeah, this was a really good album. We could put this in a classic tier. You know what I'm saying? Some albums, we don't give albums enough time. We just throw the classic at it right then and there. Well, y'all do. I don't. But that's just me, though. Anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one. I don't think classic albums are coming to an end. I think it's just rappers just lack in certain areas, which is fine. It happens. But anyway, so I'll see you on the next video. Till then, peace out.